Mariam and I had been married for 6 years when she casually suggested something that shattered me. Saad, what if we opened our marriage? At first I thought she was joking, but her serious expression told me otherwise. She claimed it was about freedom and exploring herself, but deep down, I knew this was about someone else. I loved her, so I hesitated, but she kept insisting until I reluctantly agreed. I told myself I could handle it, but I was wrong. That one decision would change everything between us forever, and neither of us would come out the same. Within weeks, Mariam started going out with friends more often, dressing differently, and spending nights away from home. I tried to stay calm, reminding myself this was what she wanted, but the emptiness at home ate me alive. Then, one night I followed her and saw her laughing in a cafe with a man I'd never met. The intimacy between them was undeniable. That moment, something inside me broke. I realized I hadn't agreed to an open marriage. I'd been manipulated into giving her permission to cheat. I decided right then I wouldn't cry. I'd get even. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I played the part of the supportive husband, pretending I was okay with her freedom. While she thought I was busy at work, I started rebuilding myself, hitting the gym, focusing on my business, and reconnecting with old friends. I stayed calm, collected, and patient, waiting for the day when Mariam's fantasy world would collapse. The more confident I became, the more she noticed the change in me. Suddenly, she was jealous, questioning where I went and who I was with. She wanted freedom, but she wasn't ready for me to taste mine. I decided to test her hypocrisy. One evening, I casually mentioned I had met someone interesting at a business event. Her reaction was explosive. She yelled, cried, and accused me of betraying her trust. I couldn't believe it. The same woman who begged for an open marriage now demanded exclusivity when the attention wasn't on her. That's when I knew my revenge plan would work perfectly. I kept things vague, dropping hints about late meetings and dinners, feeding her paranoia without confirming anything. Slowly, Mariam started realizing what it felt like to be on the losing side of the game. It didn't take long for Mariam's adventures to backfire. The man she was seeing ghosted her completely, and her so-called freedom left her lonelier than ever. She started coming home earlier, cooking dinner, and trying to reconnect, but I kept my distance. One night she broke down crying, admitting she'd made a mistake. Saad, I thought I wanted this, but I don't. I want us back, she sobbed. I looked at her, silent, my heart pounding, not out of love, but anticipation. She thought she could abandon me, then crawl back when it suited her. But I wasn't her safety net anymore. Over the next few weeks, Mariam tried everything: gifts, affection, and endless apologies. She promised to end her open marriage experiment and be the wife I deserved. But while she begged, I stayed composed, neither forgiving nor fighting. Behind the scenes, I was preparing. I met with my lawyer, secured full control over our finances, and started documenting everything: her messages, her dates, her affairs. Mariam believed I was softening, but I was building the case that would leave her with nothing. She wanted to play games with my heart. I decided to play games with her entire world. One evening, I invited Mariam's family over for dinner. She thought it was my way of reconciling, smiling as she helped set the table. After dinner, I stood up and calmly addressed everyone. Tonight, I want to talk about honesty. Then, I presented everything: her messages, her hotel receipts, the photos. Mariam froze, her face draining of color as her parents sat in stunned silence. She tried to interrupt, but I continued. This is what Mariam chose when she asked for an open marriage, but she forgot to mention she didn't want me to have the same freedom. Her humiliation was complete. The next morning, I handed Mariam the divorce papers I'd prepared weeks earlier. She begged me not to go through with it, promising to change, but I didn't waver. You asked for freedom, Mariam, I said coldly. Now you'll have more than you ever wanted. She tried calling me selfish, but the irony made me laugh. I walked out of the house without looking back, leaving her in tears. The woman who thought she controlled everything was now powerless, stripped of her games, her lover, and soon her comfortable life. And for the first time in years, I felt free. In the following months, Mariam's life unraveled. Her lover refused to commit, her friends distanced themselves, and she was forced to move back in with her parents. Meanwhile, I thrived. My business grew. I traveled, and I rebuilt myself from the ground up. Every success tasted sweeter, knowing she once thought I couldn't live without her. I didn't expose her out of spite. I exposed her so she could finally face the consequences of her choices. Mariam had gambled our marriage for temporary thrills and lost everything. My silence was louder than any revenge speech I could have given her. Months later, Mariam reached out one last time, asking if we could start fresh. I politely declined, wishing her well without an ounce of emotion left. She broke down, realizing I had truly moved on while she was stuck in the wreckage of her decisions. That was the real victory. Not screaming, not fighting, but rising above her betrayal and building a life she could no longer touch. She wanted an open marriage, and she got it. But when she begged me back, I chose myself. That wasn't just revenge, it was freedom. And this time, I wasn't giving it up.